Okay, it's 6:30. I'm going to go ahead and call us to order. Ms. Bradham, did we notify the media? Thank you, and I do declare that we have a quorum with all board members present. And now we'll need approval of the agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, welcome everyone tonight, and as usual, I would like to do our Tell Me Something Good. So, Tabitha, we'll start with you.
Oh, thanks. Well, I made it back from Hartsville after car trouble, 3 hours away from home, so
Oh, my goodness.
that's
That
my
is
good
good
this
news.
week.
Yeah.
Good for, really for the whole Jenkins clan. We found out that my oldest daughter and her husband are pregnant, and so we're very excited that we're going to have a new member of the family, and this is going to be the first grandbaby, and actually the first great-grandbaby on my side of the family, so everyone's really, really excited.
Well, congratulations, Papa
Yeah,
Shield.
that is good news.
Mr. Garber?
All is well. You don't think so? Hang around for the end.
My Tell Me Something Good is I just want to shout out the football team and Coach Porter
What about it?
and all of his, all those that worked with Coach Porter. Proud of the team and glad that they pulled out a win this weekend.
My shout out is for my mom, who is 91, who she went to assisted living today down in Florence, and we were worried about that. And she had a good day. Met a new friend there just today, and I got a picture of that. So because of that, it was a good day.
Good. Well, what I've been telling people, I feel great. I feel energetic. I don't know what's going on, but I am just full of it. And I thank God.
I ain't got enough.
Well, since Miss Little stole my something good, because I was going to
Sorry.
shout out the football team as well.
That's why I didn't start with Mr. Hughes.
She knew I was going to say that. I've been having some health issues, and I have got a good report that it is nothing major. We still got some couple things that I have to have looked at, but it's nothing major. So I'm thankful to God for that.
Good. I had a wonderful first day at Hickory Tavern. I really enjoyed that. I seen more mamas cry than I did kids cry, but it was fun. We had a good time. Chaos, but fun.
Good. Organized chaos. All right, and if you will now join me in the pledge, I appreciate it. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Jenkins, will you say our prayer?
Yeah, if y'all bow your heads. Gracious Heavenly Father, we're blessed to have a God that loves us as much as you do, and the grace and mercy you bring to us every day. I pray for this meeting that we will seek your guidance and your wisdom to make decisions that are healthy and strong, and continue to bless this school district and bless the community. In your son's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
If you would, I do want to take just one more moment and do a moment of silence for Miss Victoria Potter. She worked in the food service department at GCO, and she passed away unexpectedly. It's probably been about a month ago. It was after our last board meeting. So if you would join me in a moment of silence for her. Thank you. We'll continue to keep her family in our prayers and all those at GCO. Now we will move on to the approval of our minutes for the June 22nd board meeting. If we could get a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor of approving our minutes for the June 22nd board meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
opposed? All right, the motion is approved. And now we'll move to the superintendent's report with Dr. Harris.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Little. We're gonna start off district updates tonight by recognizing our Robots Garage team, and congratulate them for winning their second state championship. Ms. Michelle Gibbs is the head coach, and she shared some information on how the team was formed. Robots Garage was founded on a simple idea. Our founder, Mike Bryan, modeled our robotics team after the environment in which he learned as a child. His father would let neighborhood kids come to their garage to learn how to work on cars, motorcycles, and anything they could get their hands on, which is how we got our name. Mr. Bryan saw a need in the workforce and saw the potential in Lawrence High School students. Robots Garage was founded in the fall of 2012. Since then, FRC Team 4451 has gone on to win countless awards and recognitions. They are back-to-back state champions for South Carolina in 2025 and 2026. When the 2026 competition season ended in April, Robots Garage achieved these things. First in South Carolina, 221st in the United States, 266th in the world. Just like our founder, Robots Garage saw a need for our state. Our rookie team, FRC F4864 Innovation Station, emerged from the first South Carolina grant established to support Lawrence District 55 and Fountain Inn High School in 2025. Tonight, we'd like to honor our students for this great accomplishment and share that Senator Tim Scott has recognized our students with a personal letter to each. Ms. Little, if you don't mind, if you would join me to pass out the certificates and the letters, and Ms. Lackarose will read the names.
Well, I'm honored to read our varsity team. First, Destiny Cook. I'll give you a picture. Thomas Crane. Zachary Melton. Ian Sinersha. Noah Smith. And Jay Williams. We also have a pretty robust junior varsity team. We'd like to recognize them as well. Emmanuel Alvarez Acevedo. Kaylee Chambers. Christian Hart. And Christopher Hughes. Even though she's not here, I want to recognize her, Jasmine Lata. Okay, and before we do the picture, if we can also recognize our advisor. So, yes. So Michelle Gibbs. for those of you that may or may not know, it's quite a lot. It's not just being an advisor in an after-school program, but they travel across the country to go to competitions. It's quite a bit.
Okay, I'm going to continue with the superintendent's report. Start of the year off, I want to mention transportation because this is something that's ongoing. We had a bus situation on the first day of school. Most of that was due to poor communication on my part. That was largely the reason. I wanted to recognize that. But we have had some interaction with them that day. We talked that day, and then we had a meeting last Wednesday with bus drivers here, and got some good information from them. Our committee that met with them last week from the board met again this afternoon before this meeting and talked some more, and we'll be getting some information out to bus drivers and hopefully getting some information back from them and some communication back from them again as we move forward. What we're working on right now is a solution to the two issues, one of dual employment and one of excessive overtime. So we will continue to work on transportation and try to get everything straight there. I wanted to mention, because I also do operations, just a little bit about some things that have gone on, some bigger things. Lawrence District High School Stadium, if you go to the game in a couple of weeks, we're away at Clinton, by the way, next week, so come on over to Clinton and support the Raiders there, and then we'll be back home for our first game. We've renovated our locker rooms down there on both sides of the field. We have added a new additional concession on the home side, so hopefully we'll take away some of the congestion in the area of the concession stand up there. That should be a good add. A sound system that really sounds good. I think you're going to be impressed with that probably more than anything in the stadium, because it really throws sound around in that place like you haven't heard before. And so I think that's going to be great. A lot of painting, a lot of cleanup down there. And I wanted to mention that this was funded with capital money. This was not a general fund expense. So this was all done with our 512 capital money. So that's very exciting. I think you're going to like we did some scoreboard work. I don't have that up there. Our scoreboard was just renovated, and it looks like a brand new scoreboard. So we're proud of that. And just done some things down there to make it sparkle a little bit better. Anderson Drive, which will be our new bus depot, at some point, parking lot portion is complete. Fencing in the front is complete. We're working right now on the office, driver area, storage area space. That's in progress right now. I think that that's going to be a very impressive thing once it gets done. And then utilities will come after that, and then at some point we'll occupy that space on Anderson Drive. So that is that's ongoing. Instruction, Lawrence 55, I think you'll hear this about 100 times in the next few weeks. Lawrence 55 saw the third highest growth in the state this year in math. So we're right up there with some big name districts, and we're very proud of our teaching and learning team, our principals, and especially our teachers and students in the schools. Instructional leadership teams and cluster groups are proving to be effective, and gains throughout the data proves that the processes that we're using are working. And so this is something that goes back to when we started working with NIET. Dr. Thomas brought that to the district. Dr. Penland continued what she had started, and so we're continuing on with that program. We found, I think, a winning formula, and we're carrying it forward, and I think we're doing some great things in the classroom for our students. Just want to mention enrollment, because sometimes we'll get this question. As of last Friday, we're down 156 students from last year across the district, but I asked about that number. That could be tweaked a little bit depending on some special ed stuff, so if I get an updated number, I'll give that to you. Okay, so just a quick, Mr. Hughes, that quick update was for you. So right now, Ms. Lackarose is going to come continue with the superintendent's report. She has some information for you.
Okay, so he went quick because I have a lot to share, because I am kind of weaving. I know you're going to love me. I'm going to weave our assessment results right into our continuous improvement plan updates. So I'm meshing the two so we can be quick. So I am here to talk about the 25-26 state assessment results. We are well on our way to building a district of excellence. If you recall, we have a new vision and mission in Lawrence 55. Our mission is to build a district of excellence. We have goals that are set forth for a variety of things, but our first two primary goals in that strategic plan are for English language arts. We're hoping to reach 80%, and math with 65%. We made some great strides in that direction this past year with our assessment results. So I'll primarily talk to those two particular goals tonight. Just as a reminder, our state assessments, we have SC Ready in grades 3 through 8 for both English language arts and for math. We have SC Ready in grades 4 and 6 for science. And then we have our end of course exams at the high school, English 2, algebra, biology, and U.S. history and Constitution. So just a reminder that these assessments are the foundation of our school report card ratings that we will get in October. So I will be back in October, and these assessment scores have a significant impact on those ratings. They are not the exact same as what you will see in the report cards, but they are a precursor. So we are able to predict a little bit about what we may or may not see when it comes to our report cards. When we think of our school improvement plans in our 4 schools that were deemed schools in need of improvement last year, Ford Elementary, Lawrence Elementary, Gray Court Elementary, and the high school, you are going to see differences and improvements in their English language arts, their math, their science, across the board. And all of that is impacted by those improvement plans that they really were diligent in implementing this year. So the 4 things that I'm going to highlight for our assessment results this evening are, number 1, Dr. Harris already told us, we are in the top 3 in South Carolina in math growth. On page 1 of your packet, your assessment report that I had sent to you, in your packets back, it's like a 25-page assessment report, so I'll kind of refer to those if you're interested. All of our grade levels increased in proficiency in math. this year from 25 to 26. Second thing, we've had a major strategic shift in how we are addressing school improvement and in instructional leadership, and that is the Lawrence 55 TAP model that Dr. Harris mentioned with when NIET came in about 3 years ago. Last year we took that model, we continued it, even though we still didn't have the grant. We just downsized, obviously, the number of resources we had. But then we did a major focus on divisible learning, and we focused our attention in the area of math when it came to our instructional coaching model, much more than we had in the past. You will also notice that we are significantly closing the gap between our growth and the state. And I'll show you that. You can see that on page 5. Even with our English language arts, we're closing the gap with our students in does not meet category. They're moving up into approaching. That on the report card, by the way, gives us a point. It doesn't give us all our points, but it does give us a point to have more students in that category than to have them in does not meet. And then, of course, we just have an overall upward trend in all of our subjects. You know, I think the big story is how much we've increased over the past few years from 2021 versus just last year to this year, which we had those increases as well. So we'll dig into a little bit of those over the next few minutes. So obviously the big news is we are top 3 in South Carolina for math growth. You will notice on this chart, and if you want to see it better with the curtain not over the top of it, if you take a look at the first bar is the district as a whole in 2025. The second bar is the district as a whole in 2026. What we want to see is blue and green getting bigger, and we want to see our red getting smaller. And you will notice across the board, from overall in the district, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, the blue and green increased, not so much in the does not meet, and then grade 8. That is why we were in the top 3 in math in the state. We not only increased our number of proficient, but we also decreased the number of students that were scoring in the lowest category in math. So we're very proud of the work that our teachers and our students have done in reference to making those big gains. The second thing, our Lawrence 55 model, our TAP model, which is our instructional leadership teams, our coaching, our clusters that go on every week with our teachers. You can see on page 19 in that other report, all of our math scores across the board, with Waterloo being above the state average and pretty significantly above the state average in the area of math. That is a direct result of taking our Lawrence 55 model of coaching our teachers and focusing that in the area of math as well as English language arts last school year. And we saw that huge increase. Another area that we saw increase quite a bit was our science scores. But if you keep in mind, you as a board supported the addition of STEM teachers to every elementary school, as well as the STEM bus became available to all students within the district last school year, and will continue that again this year. So, and we saw that that had some impact on our students' achievement in the area of science as well. Outcome 3, we really started to reduce non-proficiency and reduce our students that were scoring in the lowest areas. And it wasn't just in math, it was in science, it was in English language arts. So if you notice, we dropped our students that were in the does not meet category in math overall by 6.2%, in science by 6.6%, and in ELA, third grade, by 6.4%. So we saw those drops in a lot of places, and what that is that's an indicator to us in teaching and learning that we have a Tier 1 program, which is what everybody gets, and that's what everybody gets in the classroom, and that is improving. That's our proficiency ratings that are going up. We also have Tier 2, where our teachers do additional intervention for the students that are struggling with just the Tier 1 approach. and they're doing extra groups, they're doing extra work, they're doing extra activities for them. And then we have a Tier 3 program where we pull students out. Lots of times at English Language Arts in our early grades, those are our interventionists. That is working. You can see our ELA grade 3 does not meet 6.4%. And then we kind of talk about just all hands on deck. We take a look at our MAP scores in March. All of our elementary schools that were schools in need of improvement, as well as some others, in March, they took a look at their MAP scores, identified the students that needed some extra support, and they really did an all hands on deck approach. We had principals running small groups, assistant principals running small groups, not just our interventionists and our classroom teachers. So it's a team effort to get these results that we're seeing. This is a depiction really of our math growth over the past few years. So, you know, we are talking a little bit about our growth from 25 to 26, but you can see we have consistent growth from 2021 all the way up to 2026, and you can really start to see that large jump, 25, 26, and that's why we saw that big shift to being the top 3 in the state in math. Our scores, just to give you some idea, we in 5th grade increased by 10.9 percentage points. 8th grade we increased by 11.9 percentage points. 4th grade was 6.7, 7th grade 5.4, 3rd grade 3.9, 6th grade 2.4. So all of our grades were increasing, which resulted in that, and it's helped us to start to close that gap. We had a major growth in the area of middle school with math. We have been seeing our math scores grow at elementary school, and now we've seen them really start to take off in the middle school, and we're really happy about that. Middle school overall went up 6.83% in grades 6, 7, and 8. We did a lot of cluster work at our middle schools in the area of math. We had obviously our new standards and our new curriculum in math this past year. And then we've also used the high quality instructional resources that the state is providing that align to the new standards that has resulted in this. And I cannot speak enough about the individual work that each of our teachers are doing by looking at every student in their class, identifying what it is that a student is struggling with, and then taking the resources that are available and strategically using them for what the student truly needs, and not just doing a blanket approach for everybody. And that is showing in the data and in the growth that we're seeing. Are we where we want to be? No, we're not. We still have a ways to go, but you'll notice that over time we are consistently growing. So for example, in 3rd grade, when you consider back in 2021, our proficiency ranges were anywhere from 21 to 27.8%, with every grade level performing below 30 percentile in English Language Arts. And by 2026, we range anywhere from 40 to 53.8% in our grade levels. From 6th grade is 40%, and 3rd grade is 53.8. So this is a real significant improvement over time. If you remember the first time I stood in front of you about 3 years ago, I said these kinds of things, we should start to see things 3 to 5 years from now, and we're starting to see that. There was some significant groundwork that was laid, and then we were able to bring that L55 TAP model on top of it, that coaching instructional model. Our teachers have done a phenomenal job. Our coaches have done a phenomenal job. Overall, our 5-year data shows a clear story of improvement from a broad pattern of teens in low 20s to a well-established ELA proficiency based in elementary grades and a drastic gain in math and science. So we have to obviously continue to focus, pay attention to the rate of growth. We can't be happy with where we are. We need to be consistent and sustain our improvement efforts, and I think we'll continue to see this upward trajectory. So I guess I asked, do people have questions at this point? How'd I do, Mr. Hughes?
Slacker Rose, I've noticed in our packet that some of the data corresponds, but you obviously have some more in that
I do.
presentation. If we can get a copy of that, some of that information, that would be great.
Of this?
Yeah, just a PDF of your presentation would be fantastic.
Oh, you mean some of the things I said?
No.
Or,
What's in the deck
This?
is not in what's in our packet. There, yeah.
okay.
There's, I mean, obviously you didn't go
Yeah.
over every page that's in here either, but there was definitely data that
I
was
can
updated.
re-forward you yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
that'd be great.
Yeah, let's forward it to you, okay? Just don't do it here.
you good?
I think we're
All right.
good, yeah.
All right.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, things look like they're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We are.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it. So you really did fold the continuous improvement plan right in there.
I did.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Ms. Lacrose. Oh, Rhett, it's still you, go ahead. Apologies. The Booster Club
yes.
registrations.
Okay, state legislatures adopted a bill, the state legislature adopted a bill on March 11th, 2024 that states each booster club or PTO within a school district must annually register with the school district board of trustees. A booster club or PTO that fails to register is prohibited from dispersing any funds for any purpose until registration is complete. The board will be asked to view the forms and vote to allow the schools to disperse funds as needed.
Yeah, so we do have to approve the registration forms that we have here. I did notice the Lawrence Middle one has been replaced, and you have a copy of it at your table. It wasn't completely filled out, so we got that fixed. So we will need a motion in order to approve these outside organizations.
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the outside organization registrations.
I second.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving the outside organization forms that we have in front of us in our packet, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. The forms are approved. And now we will move on to board operations, and we have the 2026 delegate assembly information. This meeting will take place on Saturday, December 5th at 2 o'clock at the Charleston Marriott, and this is the Legislative Advocacy Conference for the South Carolina School Board Association. So we will vote to send 2 members to that for voting purposes. We'll have one that will be the voting, and then we would have an alternate. So we do not have to vote tonight, but we will be voting in September. So just think about that. If it's something you're interested in doing, then we will address that at the next meeting. But did want to go ahead and get that in front of you with the date. And now we have some policies up, and so I'll let Dr. Harris discuss those.
Okay, the policies that we're going to talk about, these are first reading. I'm just going to call out the name of it, or read the name of each one. If there are any questions as we go through this list, just let me know. Then we'll look at some administrative rules that are just for information only. So the first policy is JFABC, transfer students. Particular questions about that one?
I have one
Okay.
question on page, well, I don't really know what pages, the pages aren't numbered, but under transportation, on that particular policy, it says non-resident transportation, and then it also says district transportation. But when you read the description, it sounds like the same. So I just wanted, it's after the application process.
So transportation language, just take a look at that.
And I
Okay.
can send this to you. yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. The next one is JFAB, admission of non-resident students. Questions about that one?
Okay, I do have a question about that.
Okay.
It states on the second page of that policy, there's been information added that written acceptance from the Lawrence County School Board would be needed. So is this something that you would actually, this policy would create that those applications would come before the board for approval now? And
Yes.
did we make that change because the state recommended
Yeah,
that?
that's correct.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
That was it.
All right. And then JLCG, Seizure Safe Schools. Go ahead.
So this one, I didn't see anything specific regarding when the training would first take place, how often it would take place. So when we would start that and how would we keep up with that as new employees came on board?
Right, this is brand new, so we'll be talking with Dr. Littlejohn about that and getting with school nurses and setting all that up.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
IKA, grading assessment systems. This one has to do with the not having grades have to be grades. You can't have a 50 for a 0. So it's basically what it is.
Yeah, it just makes it sure it's clear. You get the grade that you earned.
That's correct.
And if you don't do any work and you get a 0, you end up with a 0 for that.
Correct.
Or if you make 100, you end up with 100.
Right. Okay. And then IC has to do with the school year. And this just goes right along with model policy. Okay. And then for information only with the administrative rules, closely related to what we've already talked about, administrative rule JFABR, admission of non-resident students. I'm going to go through all of these, and if there's any questions, we'll come back to them. AR, JLCG, Seizure Safe Schools. ARGCKR, professional staff assignments and transfers. IKAR, grading assessment systems. And then file ICE, flow chart for weather-related school closure. And then ARJICJR, possession, use of electronic communication devices in schools. And again, those will not need a vote. Those are just for information only. If you have questions about those after this, you can just get those to me, and I'll be glad to get you an answer about any of those. Okay?
Thank you, Dr. Harris.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll have Ms. Leanne London present our monthly financial report.
So I'm here to discuss the June and July financials. So we're going to start with the June 30th, 2026 cash flow statement. The balance with our treasurer at the end of June 2026 was $10,541,449. That's in comparison with the June 30th, 2025 number of $10,586,498. For the fiscal year in 6/30/2026, as of this moment, we're showing a deficit of $300,383. Please keep in mind that we are still working to close the books for 25-26 school year. So that number may change. We're hoping that the number will go up. We have some few things that we haven't charged yet. For example, we haven't looked at food service indirect costs. That could be a $60,000 or $70,000 income item to the general fund. We have some other state funds that expired at the end of June that didn't get fully utilized, fully used. So we are looking at expenditures in the general fund that we may could reclassify to those state funds. So this is in comparison to the $3 million loss that we had June 30th, 2025. So it's a little bit of an improvement, but we want to work to get better at that. If you look at our June tax collections, this is outside the state aid to classroom that we get. For June 30th, 2026, that's $1,727,132 in comparison with $1,596,640 at this time last year. So any questions on the cash flow statement? So looking at the revenue for June 30th, 2026, you'll see 3 items that are highlighted in yellow. This is, let's first talk about the ad valorem taxes. What had been happening was we budgeted and recorded some revenue that we get from the Department of Revenue, and that's state revenue. So what I did in the actual column was that I reclassified 2 items. That's the merchant inventory exemption and the partial valuation exemption. I would like to show those for what they really are. That's money that we don't get. Ad valorem taxes is tax that we get from assessing millage and, off of vehicles and real estate. And these 2 items aren't really the same thing as that. So I wanted to show that separately. So that's why that's highlighted. I want to also look at the state aid to classroom number. That number came in less than what we budgeted due to our change in student count for the year. And also the Tier 3 property tax number was about $59,000 less than what we had budgeted. Again, that number is based on student count. We start getting that number in October every month, and then the last payment is adjusted depending on if our student count goes up or down. So we came in actually over budget for the year. We ended up collecting $60,620,000 and $623. So that's where we are at this moment. I'm hoping that number will go up a little bit, like I said, for those items of indirect cost and reclassifying some expired fund and state funds. So our revenues, we came in, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the expenditures now. For the expenditures, we came in at $60,921,000. So we are over budget by $1,136,257 for the year. And I think our expenditures aren't going to be any more. We're getting a few little things trickling in that we're having to accrue back, but for the most part, most items have been accounted for this year. So does anyone have any questions on the June 30th, 2026 financial information?
Yes, so this document, I'm trying to figure out how we got here, because our budget, the approved budget by the board was $59,771,000, and we are now in our 3rd year that we have overspent our budget.
Mm-hmm.
And so from my perspective, and I realize we took in a little more revenues, but spending that without approval from the board is that should not be happening. There's still, if you get in more revenues, if you want to spend that, you still have to come to the board to spend that monies. So I'm trying to figure out how we got here without, at some point, did we know something was not going to pan out in May? Did we not really have any idea that we were off track in May? Because nothing was discussed at that meeting and saying, hey, I think we might be overspending. I think we're going to have a problem.
Right. And I had mentioned in May, because, in May we looked like we were going to be having excess revenues over expenditures.
Right.
And I mentioned that we still had more accruals for payroll that had come in that we had not charged yet. We have with student services, we have some things that, especially with special education, some things that we have to pay for students that we don't have a choice. And so sometimes that comes in over our, it looks like, our cleaning services were over for the year, and we had an increase in our energy. Energy is what it is. It's very hard to budget what we're gonna use in energy costs, and it's something we have to pay, and we don't get to negotiate that. So those are some of the items that went over for the year.
Well, I think it's going to be imperative for this upcoming year that we have a better grasp on monthly what we're doing, because this is the third year in a row that we've been over budget, and it's alarming. We can't continue to do this as a school district. We're going to have a better grip on where these costs are going.
Right.
This is,
And costs continue to go up, and our income is not really improving, going that much, because when you have student count declining, your aid from the state goes down, just like I mentioned with the state aid to classroom number that went down. Tier 3 money is based on student count. That last payment is adjusted to go down, and it's not covering.
yeah, and I understand that, because the Lord knows, I think everyone in this room would probably testify that their expenses have all gone up. From taxes, food, gas. I mean, you can count on it. But we are responsible to keep a handle on this. And I would rather us report monthly to the community that we're overspending, rather than coming to the very end of it and go, oh, yeah, we're $1.1 million over again. So I think to be fiscally responsible and make sure that we are reporting to our constituents. And that way we may need to know. So we got to rethink about our revenue. If our expenses, which a lot of these are out of our control, but if we have expenses that are far exceeding our revenues, then we got to do something. Either we got to increase the revenues or we decrease our expenses.
Right.
And that may mean some hard, it may require us to do some really tough decisions.
Right. And just like we've talked about the school resource officers, we can't not have them.
Yep.
We've got, we've got to pay our electric bills. We've got to, and, we've got two issues. We've got a revenue problem and a spending problem. We're working on the spending problem now. So,
I think we have to focus on the spending problems, because we really don't have any control over the revenue side. So,
Well, but we could go in and vote that we're going to do a millage increase, right? I mean, we could.
and that's pretty much the only line item on that revenue report that I gave you that you all control.
Right.
That's the only item. The other thing is you're getting this, is based on student count, it's based on this, you have no other control over any item. You have no control on what the banks pay your interest. That's the only line item you can control, is that first line, that ad valorem taxes, and that's based on the millage assessment.
I think we're going to have to do something, because we can't spend money we don't have. I think we need to look at that and do some check and balance and stuff.
Yeah,
You
and to
know,
Paige's
we
defense
gotta
here,
do it better.
we're definitely not writing bad checks. But the problem with it is that the state requires us to have a fund balance at a certain percentage of our revenues. And if we get below that, then then we're already in trouble with that.
Right.
Right.
So
So we gotta,
if we're not careful here, the state can look at us and say, we're gonna come, y'all can't get this control, so we're gonna come in and do it for you.
Exactly, and we're already under fiscal watch for that, so,
So this needs to be a priority, 100%. We need to spend more time on this.
exactly. This is not to be
But
taken
I-
lightly.
please, it's not just at you, it's at all of us. We know that you're just trying your best to keep the numbers straight and accurately report, because that's extraordinarily important to us.
right.
Yeah, so please, I'm not barking at you. No, please. We need
Okay.
you here, Leanne, we need you.
So let's go on to the cash flow statement for July. So you'll notice our balance with the treasurer, it's at $4,094,563. We compare this to, I'm gonna explain, we compare this to this number at this time last year, and we were at $9,666,273. That's a huge drop. So there's two things going on here. For one thing, in July of last year, only July payroll cleared for the month of July. In July of this year, payroll for July cleared and payroll for August. The August payroll cleared on July 30th, so that was $3 million. So $3 million for every payroll. So during July of 2026, we had $6 million taken out for payroll versus July 2025, we only had $3 million. So that's $3 million of it. The second thing that's going on is we file claims with the state for federal funds. The way federal funds work is you spend the money up front, you submit the claims after. So June 30th, claims were due August 15th. We were working during those first 2 weeks in August to get June claims done. So we had a total of $1,545,000 in federal claims that as of the end of July, we had not gotten reimbursed for. So that makes up $4.5 million of that. So
Is there any reason you think that we won't get compensated for those?
we are, yeah,
Okay.
they will be coming in, but it's on August because we didn't file them till August. Normally, we have 30 days after the end of the quarter to file it, but when it comes to year end, they give us another 2 weeks. We have 45 days. So that's the delay in getting that. So, our general fund for July, as of the end of July 2026, we're excess of $2,012,502. In comparison with this time last year, we were at $2,240,843. Our tax collections were, for the month of July 2026, $504,107. And in comparison with this time last year, it was $540,685. So, moving on to the July revenues, you will see that I also, those same revenue items for June, those Department of Revenue items, I did a budget amendment as well for the month of July so that we can show what we're expecting in actual tax collections are going to be $13,800,000, and I took that other $700,000 that was budgeted in that line item and reallocated it to the merchant's inventory and the other Department of Revenue, just so we get a clear picture of what our millage is bringing in, because the two line items below are not based on millage. So does anyone have any questions about the revenues? And then on our expenditures, we are coming in at $1,218,001. So we have a goal remaining of 91%, and that is at 98 as of the end of July. So any questions on that? So the other item is our fiscal watch update. We are on fiscal watch with the State Department of Education. This is due to the fact that our audit was late for the 25-26 school year. We'll be meeting with the State Department of Revenue on September 15th. They will be coming to the district office to meet with me, and their fiscal watch team will be coming in, and we will be talking about our processes and procedures and things that we're doing, and they will also be looking at internal controls and those kind of items, and looking at our financial health. So
Where are we in the process of doing our end-of-year fiscal report that's due in December? Is that work started? Has our auditor been involved? I just want to make sure that we're being very attentive and upfront on.
we are.
on this.
So our auditor has been here, and he's performed some preliminary testing already. He will be back the end of September, and then back again the end of October. So
So you feel good that we will turn in?
I feel good.
Okay, good.
I've never had an audit be late, so.
Okay, that is really good news.
Anything else?
Thank you, Ms. London, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will move on to our public participation section of the meeting. We did have 5 individuals sign up to speak tonight. So individuals who submitted the required form for public participation portion of the meeting are strongly encouraged to maintain appropriate decorum while addressing the board. And please remember, this is a meeting of a public school board, and children may either be in attendance or watching via live stream. Please use appropriate language reflecting the nature of the meeting and its audience. Pursuant to Board Policy BEDH, speakers may offer objective comments on school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any public session, any expression of personal complaints about school personnel, nor against any person connected with the school system. Each individual will have 3 minutes to share their thoughts with the board. Dr. Harris, will you do the timer? I don't know. Or is this the timer, Mr. Brady? Do you know how to work it? I don't know. Yes. We're going to let Mr. Frady come up and run our timer. Thank you. We did have 5 individuals sign up, so I'm just going to call you up in the order in which I received your information. So first up is Mr. Smith.
I will be representing the dual employee drivers that was saying costing the job, that is costing the district right at $1 million. Okay, a lot of this money is funded by grant. Last week we met with you all, and Leanne, she done a chart, and the chart had I know it had 13, but it also had retirement category, different category, but it didn't have the grant, where it should have been, where the money is coming from the grant. So what it's looking like that these drivers making all this money, but it omitted the grant money. So So what the drivers are asking is they remain on their dual positions, and however, maybe you can come up with a stipulation that those individual drivers won't do field trips and after school, summer school, to help with some of the overtime. So the Lawrence School District bus driver have worked hard for their earnings. This is not given, but it is worked for. We are the first our children see in the morning and the last they see in the evening. Let's stop playing politics. To God be the glory for all he has done.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And now we will have Ms. Franklin.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
God bless you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. I joined the bus drivers. This will be my second year, but I have 15 years in special ed, and I have 7 years in adult ed education that I've done. So practically I have 22 years with the district. We did talk last week, but my thing is, I just amend you for what you said tonight, but in the new commandment is give to you that we love one another. So we need to love one another. My question is, as administrating board, need to address maybe the higher paid employees, since this was allowed and happened for a while. The new dual employment policy impacted the lower paid employees who are suffering due to finance budgets, errors not being held accountable. In the 4 years, 3 chief financial officers have changed in the district. That brings the budget to the board monthly. These issues did not start in 2025-26, y'all. It had been going on. We weren't just budget issues, it was handled before this happened. So that's why we're in the mess we're in. The dual enrollment drivers, they are not among the 13 highest paid, will need assistance with new policy. They will need a higher pay rate hour. The pay scale I suggest was $20 to $25 per hour based on experience. This would offset some of the loss of overtime. If this is a financial budget issue at District 55, why is it only affecting the transportation employees? I'm speaking volume now. We all live and we know things cost, and we talked about it. But I'm speaking volume as 85% of transportation employees are African American, 15 are Caucasian. Administration must be transparent, as issue is causing uncertainty with the drivers. That's like you all. Need to earn a living, pay your bills, and support your family, so do we. And we know this economy is high. Due to the confidentiality, salaries were not to be discussed. Now there is an atmosphere where the teachers are comparing their salaries to transportation employees. Who allowed this to happen? Who shared the information? They should be accountable for it. If all the salaries of transportation are being reviewed, why aren't the salaries of all District 55 being viewed? That's everyone. While the school district continues to receive grant money and Title I programs, there should be ample enough money to cover errors for transportation employees. Is the salary of the 13 highest paid reflecting active employees, or these past employees that have retired? I just want to leave you with this. I know we all hard workers, and we're trying to do, and we're trying to make decisions for what we need to do at this time. But all we ask is you be fair to us, and we'll do to try to work together. And how good is it if we could just come together as a team to work? Now, many God patience comfort grants you to be like-minded toward one another. So we should treat each other with courtesy. Be considerate of others. And I want to leave you with this. Whatever you do in the dark will come to the light. It will be exposed. So moving forward, because of this, truth shall set us free. We need to do what's right for District 55. We said we're building excellent. If we're gonna build excellent, we need to be honest with one another. We need to be transparent with one another.
Thank
We was
you,
not
Ms.
being
Franklin.
transparent, and when I say we were not being transparent.
Thank you, Ms. Franklin.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for speaking tonight. Next up is Miss Carrie Perry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Everything we do in this district, as far as bus drivers go, is based on trust. The state trusts us with a $200,000 vehicle. We trust the district to provide us with a safe, respectable environment in which to work in. You know, we trust y'all to provide us with a decent, honorable living or livable wage for what we are doing for an honest day's work. The communication, though, has been very lacking. We are expected to notify you guys of any change as far as whether or not we intend to return to your employment 6 months ahead of time, but y'all do not notify us of any changes that will affect our living. And I'm sure, I don't know how y'all live or what y'all's working contract is. That's difficult on a day-to-day basis, not knowing whether or not you have job security. And we are exhausted. Most of us have been up since 3 o'clock in the morning, this morning. There was an issue, you know, we trusted that someone would come to our in-service meeting and answer our questions, and they did not. And then the first day of school, we found ourselves in a situation where we were expecting a letter telling us that everything would somewhat remain the same. The letter that we got was not signed, so it was pretty much not legal. And then we were promised the first day of school that there would be a letter in our box before we finished our route. That first day, we refused to move our buses. Still waiting on that letter. So I want y'all, everybody, not just the board, but the district, to understand, from my perspective, I'm not speaking for all of them, from my perspective, it is hard to trust y'all because y'all did not keep y'all's word. Our understanding from our meeting Wednesday was that this decision was made almost a year ago and the district did not bother to notify us, which makes me wonder if the district threw the board under the bus. Anyway, that's all I had to say.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Luster.
They've covered everything that I wanted to.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Campbell.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight I also stand with my colleagues in transportation to address the issues that have been brought to the transportation department. As we've heard tonight from Ms. London, we also found that the district has a money problem overall. And so because of this, transportation has now taken a hit. And there are some things that are expected to change with the transportation department. Just like Ms. Franklin stated tonight, we have in transportation come together to try to come up with a plan to work with the board for the advancement of the district as a whole, but also with the mind of our employees in the transportation department. And I think one of the things that was mentioned in our last meeting on Wednesday night was the excess overtime. And with this being stated, we need to take a look at if overtime is going to be cut, how do we bring our drivers to a suitable hourly wage so that they don't lose their livelihoods? Because as we mentioned on Wednesday night, most of us have children and family to provide for. And so it's very important that the board also understand, just as you don't want your livelihood to change, we too must be considered in how we are paid. And as Mr. Smith said tonight, most of the funding for our overtime, which is after schools, field trips, things of this sort, are paid through grants that the district receive. So with these grants should go totally towards these extracurricular activities. And so tonight I just stand to echo my colleagues on we need a plan in place. We need answers. We cannot continue to wait, but we need some type of rectification of the present situation with the transportation funds. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes our public participation portion of the meeting. I appreciate all of you guys attending tonight, and I appreciate those of you that did get up and share some additional thoughts with us. So Dr. Harris did mention at the beginning of the meeting that we all did meet last Wednesday and had a lengthy and productive discussion. We certainly wanted to hear everything that you had to say tonight, and I do want to give you one additional opportunity to provide any information to the board that you desire for us to consider as we work through this particular situation. So if there's anything else that you would like the board to consider as we work through this along with Dr. Harris, please have that to us no later than Monday, August 31st. And then at that time, we're going to come back together to formulate a plan and hopefully present that to you and be able to move forward. So, but I just wanted to put that out there, and again, thank you guys for coming tonight. So with that being said, we will now move into executive session, and we will need a motion to move into executive session.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
Can I request Ms. Madden come in
Yes.
to executive session?
We all set, Mr. Brady? All right, I'll go ahead and call us back to order. We do have one item to attend to from executive session, so we do need a motion to approve the certified employee contract list and the resignation list that was presented.
I'll make a motion that, so make a motion.
Thank
Second.
you. Thank you. All right, we have a motion to approve the certified employee contract list for 26, 27, and the resignation list. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that is it. And with no further business, I will adjourn us. It's 8:31. Thank you.
Thank you.